Greetings, YouTube. No happy, shiny lights today because this is a slightly deep conversation that I have some conflicts with that I want to ask an opinion of my fellow gamers. I have had a lengthy exchange with somebody here on my channel discussing the concept of the neutral alignment. And I think it's a he, I apologize if I'm wrong, the person definitely writes like a guy, so I could be wrong there. I'm not sure. I don't actually know their gender, but he just sounds like a guy, so I apologize if I'm wrong. He believes that a person with a neutral alignment sees no distinction between hunting and murder. That for a neutral person, killing is killing. That the reason you kill is unimportant. It is just if you decide to kill, that's all that matters. To me, that isn't description of a neutral alignment. To me, that's the description of sociopathy, a psychopath, a person that has absolutely no moral connection to the universe if they cannot tell the difference between hunting and killing. If they cannot tell the difference between killing an animal for food or taking the life of a fellow human being because it's convenient for their acquisition of something that they need. To me, that's the definition of evil. For me, I've always kind of viewed neutrality as someone that does not intentionally do good, someone that does not intentionally do bad, and they are willing to use both the laws, mores, and rules of a society when necessary, and ignore the laws, codes, and mores of a society when it's convenient. If something gets in the way, it gets tossed. If something is useful, they'll use it. All in the name of maintaining that balance between not being good and not being evil. Not doing one good thing and then a bad thing to balance it out, but not doing either. It's one of the reasons I think that the neutral alignment is the hardest one to role play. The one that I think is a theoretical alignment more than one that is practical in any way, shape, or form. It's why having druids required to be neutral good or neutral evil or true neutral, or lawful neutral, I should say, is more flexible than requiring them to be true neutral. That was a difficult path to walk, one that I could never quite wrap my head around. I think when we were younger, we pretty much just thought of someone that was a tree-hugging environmentalist more than anything. We kind of ignored the whole aspect of neutrality and just the defender of the wild kind of vibe. And it worked for us. We didn't get into the deep philosophical ramifications of our alignments when we were kids, you know? But I find this person's take that a neutral individual sees no distinction between hunting and killing, hunting and murdering, I should say, to be very strange and deeply disturbing. Now, I did bring up how I define murder. And I base my moral compass, or the foundation of my moral compass, on the work of Bernard Gert and his book, The Moral Rules. I've spoken about him before. And it's based on the concept of rational actors and reciprocity. That a rational actor does not want to have someone steal their stuff, so through an act of reciprocity, they do not steal the stuff of others. They do not want to be raped, so through an act of reciprocity, they do not rape others. They do not want to die without consent, so they do not kill without consent. It isn't always perfect, but it's a pretty good rule of thumb. It's kind of a more nuanced version of the golden rule. This person I mentioned, he even came at me and said, talked about rationale. Well, irrational actors don't want to die either. And I said, well, an irrational person in the context of what I'm discussing is someone that has been deemed a danger to themselves or others. And if someone's in danger to themselves or others, we don't know what they want, and they don't know either. But a rational actor does. And there are some contexts in which a person would want to die or is willing to accept the risk of death. If someone decides to get into a high-stake game of involving like very skilled martial artists, they accept that there is physical injury or death on the table. Not because it's planned, but because they accept that risk and they consent to it. And Gert covers self-defense by the means of saying that if an attacker comes at you, they have given you implicit consent to defend yourself and potentially kill them. Much the way if you find an unconscious person, there is implied consent that they want your assistance, because it makes sense that if you were unconscious lying on the ground, you would want medical assistance. It's how the Good Samaritan law covers your ass. I know, I've read about that quite a bit. I do first aid. So if someone attacks you, I mean, yes, they would be very happy if you just stood there and did nothing, but they accept the fact that there is risk involved in attacking someone else. There's a very good chance they may get injured or killed, but they have chosen, for whatever reason, to take that risk, grant the implied consent, and come at you. So do what you will. I would feel no guilt because I am not the aggressor. I don't say I'm going to win, but I'm going to do the damn to take them with me. So we're using that as a framework. You can understand my confusion about neutrality being viewed as someone that sees hunting and murdering as being morally and ethically equivalent, transparent, if you will. So I need your help here. How do you view neutrality? Is it closer to how I view it? Someone that does not intentionally do good, does not intentionally do bad, and is just willing to use whatever means necessary to maintain that balance, using the law here and ignoring the law there, whichever works best for them, much the way a chaotic good person will bend and break the law if it means of doing the maximum good. So I need to know. I need to know if I am completely off base here, because I am thoroughly confused. So let's, once more we ride into the breach we ride when it comes to alignment, I guess. So will you make the charge, and will you take up the challenge and ponder how you view neutrality?